Hello, it's me Mark back again for another YouTube video. In this week's video I thought I'd had a really good original idea, but when I googled it and looked on YouTube, someone's already done it, but I'm going to do it slightly different to other people have done it. I still want to do it because I think it's a really good idea. So what I want to make is a Lego man. That one's Luke Skywalker, but I want to make it as a lamp. So I want to make it exactly the same as that, but obviously his lightsaber to light up the lamp part. That's the plan anyway. So I'm going to start off by making the head. I think I'm going to try and make it 10 times the size of that one. So I thought I'd make the head first, and if the head turns out slightly different size, I can still slightly adjust the body. But I'm not sure if I just make it 10 times everything by 10 whether the proportions are still right. So I thought make the head and then try and work out all the proportions of it from there. So I've got the lathe. I've dug my lathe. I haven't used it for years, so it was a bit rusty and stuff. So I'm going to give it a go. I've got a lump of beech and put it in the lathe to make the head. I went for beech because it was the most skin coloured sort of wood I could find. I've got it round now, so I'm just going to sort of shape it into the head, scale it up off the little Lego man, and I think I just rounding it off now and give it a sand up. So I've got the shape of the head. These two bits at each side of, obviously that's like the brick that sits at each side of his head to attach the hair on one side and obviously onto his body the other side. So I'm just going to give it a sand up now before I take it off the lathe. While I'm making this video, I know when I've watched back my other videos, because I talk as I go along, I keep repeating myself. So this thing's going to take probably more than several days. We're probably going to film it over several days, so I'm bound to repeat myself. So if you're watching it, I'm sorry if I keep repeating myself, but I'll forget what I said 10 minutes earlier, let alone the previous day. So I will try not to repeat myself. So okay, I'll give this a sand up, and then it's to make the hair, which is probably going to be the trickiest bit of the whole man, I think. Okay, I've got a head. Looks like a head anyway. So I'm going to obviously cut this piece off the bottom here, so it's just got the peg, or whatever, the sort of the brick bit, top and bottom. So hopefully, I don't know if you can see the little tiny one there. So hopefully that one, my one, is 10 times bigger than that one. That's the plan anyway. So the next thing is to make some hair for him. So plan with the hair is basically, obviously, put it back on the put it on the lathe, but make like a bowl, I suppose is it where, that fits over the top of, or sort of sleeve that fits over the top of this one. And then once I've got that round, so it's just like a sleeve that fits over the top, I can then cut the shape of the hair on the bandsaw, and then just try and chisel out the actual sort of slots of the hair. So first of all, I just want like a sleeve or bowl sort of thing that fits over the top of his head. Okay, I've got this piece of oak on the lathe now, so the head's going to fit inside here. So this is going to be the hair. So the plan is now is to keep reducing this down so this will fit in the chuck. That's what I'm hoping will work. Then I can then spin it and then hollow out the inside in here to allow the head to go over the top, then cut the shape of the hair and stuff afterwards. So that's the plan. So I'm going to reduce this down enough to get that into the chuck, obviously sand it all up, take it off, and then try and hollow out the middle. If that won't work, I'll have to use plan B, but hopefully that'll work. Okay, so I've got the hair back in the lathe, so it's just in I've left like a sort of a little plug on the top of the head, which is what's in the chuck. So I'm a little bit worried it might snap, but we'll see what happens. So the plan is now, there's the head, so is to hollow the middle out, so then I can then slide the head inside, then cut the shape of the hair. So just sort of a hollow sleeve really, that will fit inside. Then I cut the lump of hair out to expose his face, because his hair goes right down at the back, and then shape it up with the chisels and that to get the hairlines in. So that's the plan, is to try and cut the middle of this out now without snapping it off there. So I'll see what happens. Okay, put it in the lathe. I was getting too much wobble. Wasn't really very happy. The chuck on that lathe it's not a great chuck. It wasn't powerful enough to hold that lump of oak when it was spinning. So on to plan B now. So tipped it upside down in the vise. Made a circle template on top of it. So I'm going to use the bush guide on the router and just slowly ever so work my way down, cutting the middle out. It's going to be a bit of a pain. It's not really, wouldn't be much easier on the lathe, but it's just, I just don't really trust it. It's going to fly off. I can just see it. So I think I can just about get enough. I need to go about 80mm. I think by the time I get that cutter fully extended, should be able to get, well, at least pretty close. I might be able to finish the last bit off by hand if necessary. But I've got to cut the front out for his face, so that will give me better access on deeper. But I'll give this a try and I'll film a bit more as I'm going. It's not working too bad. I've got in about 50mm already. About another 30mm to go. It's coming out relatively easy actually. It's not even a reasonably clean cut as well. But I'm going to struggle to get it out. I think it's one of those big kitchen worktop cutters in there, so hopefully if I push it to its maximum I might get at least 70mm out of it. We'll have to see how it goes. But at least it's working and the head fits in there, so quite pleased with that really. So I've hollowed it out as much as I possibly can with the router. I literally took the plastic base off the bottom of the router in the end just to get like another 5mm of depth, but I think I still need a little tiny bit more, so I might have to do it. I don't know yet. Probably, well, I've got to drill a hole in the middle for the plug for the head. I'll do that, offer it all in there and sand it out and see what it looks like, how much more has got to come out. Might just got to round these corners off a little bit, I don't know. Okay, I've got that, so the head's now, so I should forcing a bit to drill the last little bit out to get the bottom out, so that now fits over there. Obviously that top's going to be cut off, so it's now sort of a case of creating that fringe part, cutting that out up out there, see, to get that fringe for his hair, and then I can chisel it to make the hairlines. So it's going to be a bit tricky to draw that, but give it a go. So I've drawn that, the hairline thing in paper, made like a paper template. I think that looks about right. I've got the wife to help me draw it, so if it doesn't right I can always blame her as well, can't I? That was a joke. Sort of. Yeah, so I'm going to cut that out really carefully now and then sort of run those hairlines, the lines of his hair in. Okay, I'm working on the hair now. It's so slow. So I've drawn lines around the outside of his head. I'm just slowly getting the V-tool, just chiseling them in. But it's taking an awful long time. I think it's something you still need to do a little bit more work. But it's the only way you can really do it. But I'm quite pleased with how they come out. I mean, it does look the same as the little Lego man. So keep going with it and I'll show you when I've finished. So I think I've just about got there with the hair. It's been a bit of a nightmare really. It's taken ages of sanding as well. I think it looks, I'm quite happy with how it's turned out. I think it looks, if you look up closely at the little mini Lego man, it looks, you know, reasonably close to what's on there. When I was looking on YouTube and on the internet, yeah, I think there's a lot of other people who have made Lego men, but no one else had made the hair. Well, I found anyway. I think I found out why they were quite a sensible move. That hair is taking absolutely ages, but I think you need the hair to set off Luke Skywalker. On with the body next, and hopefully that'll be a bit more straightforward. Okay, I'm going to start on the body now. I marked it out on a bit of poplar. I thought that was not a bad colour because it's got these slight lines in it, and I can see on the camera on his body you've got these little lines. I'm going to make the belt and that bit of skin and those black lines, I'm going to cut those on. But the body also, it's got like, the top comes off and you've got this part here which is still sort of part of the body. So I've done that, sort of controls his leg. That's really hard to see on the camera. That bit sort of controls his legs in there. So kind of the proportions don't look quite right on that at the moment, but when that other bit goes on, hopefully it'll look right. But I've scaled him up off of that man. So So I've made them 10 times bigger than the body of that, which is what the head is. So hopefully that'll work. So I'll cut this all out. Now we can start routering in all the little slots for the belt and the skin and everything. I've cut out the body. It's the second one I cut out. I cut the first one out, and even though I scaled it up as 10 times, it just didn't look right with the head. So I think that one looks better. It's bigger than the scale, but it sort of works with the head. So I've marked out, see on the, so the little black line that goes down there, and his belt is there, and a little bit of skin there. I'm going to router those out. I made a template up so I can run the bush guides of the router around the lines. So I made that template to follow that line there. Cut these out, and I'll glue a piece of beech in there and some different coloured woods in to create the belt and that sort of cloak effect. Yeah, I suppose that's what it is. And a bit of skin. So I'll cut these out and then I'll show you what I've done. So I routed out these slots. So I'm going to cut some strips and then glue them in. I'm going to put a bit of walnut in for these black lines. I've got some teak and an old windowsill down on the floor there, which I'll put in for the belt. And a bit of that beech, which I used for the skin colour, for the head, which was the skin colour for this little, sort of his V-neck part. So I'll get those cut down and glued in, and then I'll come back. So I'll put all those inlay pieces in now. So what you see is his belt, and that's the black line that goes down there. There's a little bit of skin in coloured beech in there. Let's move the camera a bit closer. It's a bit hard to see. I think it's all buried in clamps, but they're all a bit proud, so I'll just sand it or plane it all back when it's gone off and see what it looks like then. So I'll glue up. I glued all those in last night. I just cleaned it all up this morning, so quite pleased with it. It's come out okay, I think. So I think I'll drill a hole for the head now, so I can mount the head on it, and then the body and the head pretty much there. Well, got to do that, drill some more holes in it, but yes, the basics of this is there. So I've got the head on now. Quite pleased with it's coming on okay, I think. I think I'm going to stop this video now and split it into 2 videos, because I feel like I've been talking to this camera for hours and I've only made a head and a body. Still got the arms, the legs and the lightsaber to go. So I think it'd be probably better if I make it as 2 videos so I don't bore you all completely senseless. If you've enjoyed it, please subscribe, check me out on Instagram, and come back and watch the second half, hopefully. If you've enjoyed it, that'd be really good. Thanks a lot for watching.